Elizabeth, tell a little bit about your TV program. It's on the West Virginia Media Network. And
Awesome.
Has potential 1 million viewers, and it's called Kids Corner, right?
Kids
Yeah. Cool,
Kids News.
Elizabeth. Awesome. That's pretty impressive.
Yep. What is the Revolve Tour?
The Revolve Tour is a conference that's designed for girls, 7th through the 12th grade, and it's an opportunity for girls of all ages that are from like 12 to, well, what is 7th to 12th grade? Is that 12 to 18 years old? I think it is. Of all those ages and whatever the color of their skin is, whatever their background is, we're just going to all come together in one big room and we're going to get real with one another. We're going to talk about issues that are facing girls just like you. Today we're going to have some great music, and it's just going to be a really awesome time for us to hang out and talk about real life issues that are facing real girls just like you.
Are you going to speak or sing at the conference?
I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm going to speak for sure. I have a testimony of how I used to struggle with an eating disorder, and I want to talk to girls about their self-image and what they can do to start becoming the girl that God sees instead of the girl that they see when they look into the mirror. So I'll be speaking, and I'll be singing as well, helping to lead some praise and worship and singing some of my own songs too. So a little bit of both.
The topics that the conference is going to cover is friendship. It's a guy thing. Real faith meets real, and what I think about me. What are you going to talk about?
I'm talking about the one that is real. Did you say real faith meets real? Real life. Real faith meets real life. I'm the real girl. I'm the get real, get honest. And so I'm talking about how we can become the real me. Because so often I think with the pressures that are put on girls your age and pressures that are put on girls my age and pressures that are put on girls my mom's age, there's so much pressure to become something other than what we are, because we're trying to keep people happy, and we're trying to impress people, and we're trying to reach our dreams and our goals, and we're trying so hard to be what we think the world wants us to be that sometimes we forget who we really are and who it is that God has created us to be. So I'll be talking about that.
What do you think this conference is important to teenage girls?
Well, because I think that all you have to do is turn on the television for a brief moment, and you can see through so many different reality programs that teenage girls are searching for significance. They're searching so hard in so many different areas of their life for meaning to their life and for significance. And I think that this conference is going to be an opportunity to speak into their lives about the real issues that they're facing, and hopefully probably encourage them to really go after what they feel God's called them to do, but more importantly about having an encounter with God. Because we can't find out what this life is about. We can't figure out what we want to be or what we want to do until we figure out who God is. And that's the number one most important thing that we want this conference to do, is introduce girls to the real God.
Tell me about the book, The Real Me.
The Real Me is a book that is just basically my story from the time I was a little girl and the family I grew up in. I have 2 awesome parents and awesome brother and 3 sisters, and it talks about my life growing up. But it also talks about the pressures for perfection that I faced in my life and how I have been an absolute people pleaser for my whole life, as long as I can remember. And that pressure to, once you start trying to be what everybody else wants you to be, then the pressure is trying to maintain that charade. And that becomes a hard thing to try to balance. And so for me, I struggled with an eating disorder called bulimia. And through my research have discovered that 1 in 4 teenage girls in America have struggled or have experimented with an eating disorder of one type or another. And so it's a problem that's really plaguing our culture. And so the book addresses self-esteem issues, and for me, my story was about an eating disorder, but for some girls it's about cutting themselves. For some girls it's not acting out in some drastic way like that, it's just cutting themselves with their words and what they say internally to themselves. And so the book addresses that and hopefully will help girls learn how to become the girl that God sees.
Tell me about the new CD,
Awaken.
Awaken. That's okay.
Awoken.
Close enough. Close enough.
Exactly. Awoken, awaken, as long as you wake up, right? The CD has got a lot of songs that really just speak to where I'm at in my own personal journey. Really talk about waking up to the world around us, and instead of doing what the world tells us to, which is that this whole life is about us, that this life is about me. This life isn't about me. This life is about learning how I can love my neighbor and serve others. And I tried to write a bunch of songs that would speak to people in that way, and hopefully bring a lot of comfort and help to people that find themselves in difficult places in their life. So, and there's a lot of fun on there too. I wrote about 70% of this CD, and about 30% of it was brought to me from my friends or other songwriters. So thank you.
Okay.
The Home Foundation is a foundation that I started to help raise awareness about human trafficking and to build a medical clinic for the victims of human trafficking in Bombay, India. I took a trip there and I saw firsthand the plight of young girls, some of them as young as 5 years of age, that are forced into prostitution, that are sold on the street, and saw a little girl in a cage, and once I saw that, it forever changed my life. And I knew that I would spend every day the rest of my life fighting for their freedom. But it's a reality because 6 million children in the world have been sold into that form of slavery. And last year, 35,000 children were trafficked into America, our neighborhoods, our towns, our cities, for the purpose of exploitation through prostitution. And it's something that you don't think about, but something that needs to be talked about because it's a reality. And 85% of the victims that I met in India have AIDS, and they needed a medical clinic, so we started the Home Foundation to raise funds to build them one. We're well on our way to do it. Exactly. I have a 5-year plan. I have a plan to today, God, when I wake up, man, help me when my feet hit the floor to make the most of every opportunity you give me, because you didn't promise me tomorrow. So I hope that today, in this moment, that you'll use my life to glorify yourself, and that you'll use my life to bless others. And I think if we could learn how to take our day, one day at a time like that, that we would find our life much more fulfilled and at peace. So. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.